show. We really appreciate you coming, and welcome to Parsons Derry. I'm Anita Strang, and I'm the director for Main Street Winter Haven, and this was our first historic preservation project, and we are very proud. We have with us today some really amazing people who will be coming out in a few minutes. But one step further than that, we have some really amazing people in the audience, and I would like to thank them for joining us today. We have Mr. Bob Keeling here. We have John Cornell in the back. Has been wonderful enough to join us today. And in a few minutes, I will welcome Jim Carlton. He will be doing the introductions, but I'm going to take care of the little housekeeping items. If you would, once the show begins, if you will use the door closest to the bar in the back to access the restrooms, they're out on the patio. That would be great, and it won't interfere too much with this door. The back we have waters and sodas. Those are $1. We do have a complimentary beer and wine today, so the ladies in the back can help you. And over here, after the show, there are some items that are available for purchase from the wonderful musicians today. Please understand that we are at the end of their tour, and they're a little low on merchandise. So we do not have t-shirts, but we do have some other items. And please stop by, take a look at those, and they have asked me to let you know that you can always go to their website to make other purchases for that. So I am going to turn the mic over here. Jim. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. When I stand up here, I've got some notes. What a good-looking group. You look fantastic. You've lost some weight, haven't you? You look very good. Once again, thank you. Thank you to our visitors who have driven such a long way. So many of you have. Also, one little piece of information. If you have one of these, would you please take a moment and turn it off? Okay, please. Why do you think Lincoln was shot in the theater by a performer? A steampunk cell phone. That's what it was. But thank you so much. This is a special evening for all of us here at the Dairy Queen. You know what I mean. Dairy down. 10 years ago, this place was awaiting the wrecking ball, literally. And tonight we are presenting our first Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Isn't that amazing? This place opened 53 years ago. Originally opened 53 years ago on December 20th, 1964. I was here. Old. I was once on a show called Let's Make a Wheel. So that's how old I am. But we want to extend thanks, of course, to Anita Strang, Bud Strang, and the force of nature, Mr. Bob Keeling. We have a major talent trust in the wings. Their musical accomplishments are just staggering. If I were to enumerate even a fraction of what they've done, we would be here for hours, and we want to listen to the music. Chris Hillman helped create a unique, very appealing music genre that was built on tradition, and one that has since transcended both time and trend. Amazing person. Of course, Chris and Graham worked together in the Byrds and the Flying Burrito Brothers. In fact, a very good case could be made for Chris discovering Graham. They met in a line in a bank in Los Angeles, and Chris arranged for Graham to audition with the Byrds, and we all know the rest of that story. Something else, it was Chris who recommended Emmylou Harris to Graham as his singing partner. So a few years ago, I wrote some liner notes for a reissue of Sweetheart of the Rodeo, the Byrds' seminal album. And I'll quote a few lines from that as long as we have the time. Graham Parsons is featured on many of the lead vocals here, is often given credit for influencing the band's direction toward the country rock genre. To an extent, that's true. But both Roger McGuinn and Chris Hillman cut their teeth on American roots music. And Chris Hillman aptly referred to Graham's role in the Byrds back then as that of a catalyst. And I think that's really true. As a youngster, Chris listened to bluegrass and country and perfected his prowess on the mandolin. By the time he was in his late teens, he was well known on the West Coast scene as a superb player and a member of the Hillman, also known as the Blue Diamond Boys, who were among the very first bluegrass groups to push the envelope. Even then, Chris Hillman wanted to expand the parameters of bluegrass music and go beyond the traditional and explore more modern musical sources. And boy, I think he sure did it, didn't he? Yeah. As someone who has spent a lifetime as a musician and a musicologist and a music journalist, I can truthfully state that Chris Hillman's contribution to our culture is inestimable. It's that's a tough word to say. It's a big word like warehouse or mayonnaise. How about beyond calculation? Should we go with that? Roger McGuinn told me about producer Jim Dixon introducing him to Gene Clark and Chris because the Byrds needed a bass player. And being a very quick study and a very talented guy, Chris incorporated his bluegrass chops with a feel for melodic bass lines that perfectly complemented the Byrds. I think his bass playing was every bit as important to the Byrds as Roger McGuinn's 12-string. Believe me. Both John Jorgensen and Herb Pedersen are two of today's most in-demand musicians. John is a Grammy winner. He was voted by the Academy of Country Music as Guitarist of the Year for 2 consecutive years. He's recorded, and there's no dust on his shelves because of all the awards, believe me. He's recorded or toured with Elton John, Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Emmylou Harris, Hank Jr., Streisand, Roy Orbison, Bonnie Raitt, and Luciano Pavarotti. Many of us can say that. Pretty hip. He was also portrayed the gypsy guitar genius Django Reinhardt in a film entitled Head in the Clouds. He was the Reader's Choice nominee for Featured Artist of the Year in 2016 by the readers of the magazine that I write for, called Vintage Guitar. I want to read a little bit about Herb. This is, I need a secretary. Here we go. Herb Pedersen has worked and recorded with Graham, Emmylou, Dan Fogelberg, Stephen Stills, Linda Ronstadt, Chris Christopherson, John Prine, Jackson Brown, John Denver, and many more from Dolly to the Doobies. He's done it all. He sings, composes, plays steel, banjo, guitar, and in short, is a first call session player. He is for any musical genre. These are 3 monsters. It's my pleasure, on behalf of the Derry Dome, to introduce 3 of the best you will ever hear. Chris Hillman, John Jorgensen, her Pedersen.
A joint Damn You Maggot, Asper Pias Clowns production in association with Stuck in the Vinyl Again Records, an exclusive imprint of Sarcastic Cheeseburger Pictures.